Everyone wants to jackpot. That's what's going on now, especially amongst the young people. You see on television, the US looks so flashy. Canada, your friends who maybe left the other day, they are sending you images, pictures, and videos that will make you think, oh, they are really enjoying themselves and you're wasting your time. And so today I'm just going to look at what I've called guided journeys, following God's will in immigration and relocation. What is it for you who is the Christian? Should you stay where you are? Should you move? What's the implication for you when you move? I'm going to look at the scripture to look at people who at different times, some were told to move, some were told to stay, some were told to go back to where they came from. And then my own personal experience to see what should you do as a Christian? How does God lead you? How do you hear God speak to you? So I'm going to be looking at, first, we look at Abraham. It's important, let me preface this, that where you live does not matter, because God is in Nigeria, for instance. God is not only in America. God is in America. God is in Canada. And God is in Lagos, Nigeria. So you can be blessed wherever you are. It depends on what is it, where is it that God is asking you to stay. So we look at Abraham. God told Abraham, he said, Abraham, I need you to immigrate. Leave your country and go somewhere else. And in that new country, I'm going to bless you. But the blessing wasn't the destination. It wasn't the only thing. It wasn't about just God blessing Abraham. He said, I will make you a blessing so that you will be, I will bless you so that you will be a blessing. That's what God told Abraham. So we see in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 4, look at what God said. Come from your country, your people, and your father's household to a land I will show you. You know, sometimes God is going to ask you to move because he has a bigger picture. God is told Abraham, leave your country, go somewhere else, go to a place you didn't know. I have already prepared for you favor. I prepared for you things that you are going to benefit from. And Abraham obeyed. And because of obedience, the key is to obey. Because of that obedience from Abraham, God blessed him. And then he became a blessing. So obedience is the key. The key point here is, what is it that God is asking you to do? Before you apply for a Canadian visa to run away, or before you apply for American visa, is God asking you to go, or you're going because everybody is doing it? Remember, you're not everybody. For the Christian must make decisions based on that this is what God is asking me to do. So how do you hear God speak to you? Abraham heard God because he knew how God spoke to him in the past. So when God said move, he knew God. So it's important to understand how God speaks to you so that when he's speaking, you will hear. So before you relocate, ask, is this a God-led move or self-driven escape? Blessing is tied more to God's will than to geography. Like I said, there are people who are in Nigeria and they are doing a lot better than people in America. There are people in America who are also doing better than people in Nigeria. But it depends on where God wants you to be. That's the best place to be. Now we look at Isaac. Remember, Abraham had Isaac as a son. And Isaac experienced a very difficult situation. There was famine in the place, just like in Nigeria. Everybody is complaining, the economy is bad, things are difficult, and you feel like, oh, I need to go somewhere else. But you know, again, it's important to understand How does God speak to you? And do you know what happened? In Genesis chapter 26, 1-6, look at what God told Isaac. He said, do not go down to Egypt. Stay in the land, I tell you, and I will bless you. Remember the situation. There is famine in the land, but God said, stay. And what happened? Isaac stayed, and he planted, and he received 100-fold return. He stayed in a place that wouldn't make sense to other people. There was famines, and people must have been moving. And that's why God says specifically, do not follow all these guys that are going to Egypt. Stay where you are. And he stayed, and God blessed him. So prosperity doesn't always require relocation. It requires obedience. If Isaac had left where he was and went to Egypt because everybody was relocating, he wouldn't have had that 100-fold blessing that he had. So don't use hardship as the only reason to move. The voice of God, not the state of the economy, should guide your steps. I say that again. The voice of God, not the state of the economy, should guide your steps. Now, we see Jacob. He immigrated. He went to work for his uncle. And after some time, what happened? He went back to where he came from. He says in Genesis chapter 28, verse 1-5, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So Jacob's relocation served as a relational and redemptive purpose. He had gone and reconnected with his uncle and his relatives, and after some time, God asked him, and he went back to where he was. So he was open. Sometimes God may be telling you to go, and after some time tells you to return. So you have to be sensitive, you have to be open, you have to be obedient to whatever God is asking you to do. Long stays can become permanent delays if you don't listen again. So it's important. Always hold your immigration status loosely. Look at what happened to him. He had gone to a new place. If he had said, oh, this is where I must be, when God was asking him to go back, he wouldn't have gone back. Stay connected to God's guidance. What was once obedience can become disobedience if you overstay a season. So if he had continued to stay where he went to work for his uncle, then that will now turn to be a disobedience. So we see Abraham, God asked him to immigrate, and he obeyed, and God blessed him. We see his son Isaac, God asked him stay, even though where he was there was famine. God asked him stay, and he stayed, and he was blessed. And then Jacob went and came and returned, and in both instances, where he went, he was blessed. When he came, returned, he was blessed. Now we see a sad story about someone who immigrated. I take it that he shouldn't have immigrated. He immigrated and lost everything. We read in Ruth chapter 1, verse 1-5. We see a man called Elimelech and his wife Naomi. So they immigrated because things were bad for their country. To them, this is not a good place. So they immigrated. And he lost everything. He died. His two sons died. So the only people surviving him was Naomi, his wife, and then his daughters-in-laws. And we see Naomi heard that the Lord has visited his people. The place that they had moved away from, God had visited them, and she said, you know, I better go back. And she did, and one of the daughters-in-law said, I'm going to go with you. And she said, oh, it's not a good thing for you. I don't have anyone to marry you. I will advise that you stay back. But because of the love that Ruth had, she went with Naomi. And Naomi comes back, and Remember, she lost everything. Lost her sons, lost her husband. So not every move is God ordained. Some are based on fear and survival. That's what happened in this instance. Immigration without divine direction can lead to loss, emptiness, and regret. She literally lost everything. Naomi returned home broken, but God's mercy still met her. Even when we make mistakes, if you've made a mistake and you're in the wrong place, God always has second chances. And that's what happened to Naomi. So we see here, Naomi comes back and her daughter-in-law gets married to one of her relatives. And if you look at the lineage of Jesus, he came through Ruth, Boaz. So look at, they made mistake and lost everything, but she came back and God had mercy on her. And that's how Jesus was part of that lineage. I will give you an example with myself. So I went to school in Nigeria, worked in Nigeria, and after some time, I went to live in the United States. I lived in the United States for quite a while, and yearly I will come back to Nigeria, and I would see things that are not going too well, and I was not happy that the things are, whether it's the Christian church or the economy, I wasn't satisfied, and I was complaining and saying, oh, things could be better. But it was put in my spirit, so why don't you be part of the solution? So 13 years ago, I decided to come back to Nigeria. So you see, I immigrated like Jacob, and then God put it in my spirit to go back to my country. It's important when you immigrate, don't forget where you came from. There's a reason why God made you a Nigerian. There's a reason God made you to first be from a particular country. So we see somebody like Daniel. Daniel was still concerned. Even though he had gone to another country, he still was concerned and asking about what was going on in Jerusalem. So it's important for us, if you immigrate, do not forget where you are from. So that's the situation for me. I came back to Nigeria, started a business, and I can tell you that God has blessed me in Nigeria. So it does not matter where you are. God's blessings are independent of your location. So ask yourself, before I make this decision, how does God speak to me? How do I hear from God? I pray and ask God for direction. It is only when God directs you to stay, you stay. If God asks you to go, you go. If God has given you the opportunity to immigrate and after some time asks you to go back to your country, you obey. So it's all about obedience. That's why I called it God-guided or divine-guided journeys. So before you jackpot, pray. Let God guide you. Thank you.